Hello everybody, my name is Ali and welcome to my game engine video. In this video, I will be talking about my game engine development process and the game level implementation. For this game engine, I used multiple different libraries, namely SDL2, Glue, Asymp, SDL2 Image, SDL2 TTF, GLM, SDL OpenGL, and C++ included library IOStream. The theme I chose for the scene was space adventure. While developing the scene, I got the models from Sketchfab. Their references are on the GitHub. The models I chose were spaceship, Earth, planet, space boy, canisters, satellites as billboards, and starry space for the skybox. The features that have been implemented into both Windows and Linux are FPS camera, loading models and textures from files, 5 static models, simple flat terrain being used as a portal. Users can move around and look around the level using keyboard and mouse. Implemented a skybox. The reason a skybox was used instead of a skydome was because when using a skydome, memory usage went up twice as high, going from 113 MB to 200 plus MB. Furthermore, text or font was also implemented to show FPS on the screen. 5 billboards were added as satellites. Terrain with height map was also added, but as it did not fit in with the space theme, it was not in the final scene. Although the source code is there, so users can implement it for a different themed scene. I have also implemented a heads-up display HUD using a 2D sprite of a spaceship cockpit, along with a functioning minimap that changes according to the camera movements, as well as lighting on all the models, and finally a full GUI with keyboard controls that allow the user to change camera speed. All the models are able to be manipulated in position, scale, and rotation. The UI is able to be manipulated in position and scale. In terms of usability of the game engine, my goal for it was to make it user-friendly so that anyone with knowledge of C++ can use the code to create their own scene, meaning the source code had to be built so that the user can easily manipulate their scene without going into the back end. This means that the user can declare and change their models from the front end. Another feature I implemented into the source code was that whenever possible, I tried to limit the amounts of functions the end user had to call. As an example, in the font renderer and GUI renderer, instead of having the user call the initialization function, I made it so that it is called when the object's definition is set. As for the structure of the classes, I have condensed it so using just the model.h, the user is able to render models, terrain, and the skydome, and using the model renderer.h, users can draw it in the scene. The final piece of user-friendly change I made was to call the destroy function in the destructor so the users could call the delete keyword to destroy all that they have created. These user-friendly changes also brought stability as well as improved FPS and memory management. These are the final performance statistics using the Visual Studio Performance Profiler. As for the back-end coding and OpenGL features, I have used a vertex buffer along with an index buffer to make better use of memory for models, terrain, and skydome. And because the vertices were already defined for the skybox, billboards, and GUI inside the code, I used only the vertex buffer to draw them. I also used GLSL shader language to define my shaders for all of the models and UI, then linked them to my program using OpenGL and used it to draw the model. For the textures, the user can pass in a file and the engine reads the code using Asymp and converts it into texture data with RGB value. Lastly, the engine uses OpenGL version 3.2 and GLSL version 140 throughout the build and file. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.